So it is 5 a.m. and nobody else is up. And I'm re-recording this because yesterday I recorded it in this video and it was an epic fail. I heard my fireplace in the background. There were kids going in and out the door. There was stuff going on outside. Y'all know we live in the city, so you hear everything. And so yeah, we're re-recording this today because I feel like you guys deserve better. So today I am talking about this concept called deschooling. And you may be like, what is deschooling? Is this another homeschool like weird term that you've come up with? But deschooling is actually, I think, not limited to just homeschool. The definition of deschooling is you are essentially deconstructing your belief in how you understand that learning happens. So it is the process of shedding those norms and beliefs that education and learning only happens one specific way. And through that process of deconstructing that belief and shedding the way we think learning occurs, you are discovering what you're interested in. And so we not only have done this in homeschool, but I actually feel like this is useful for adults to do this in life. My mom retired this year, and she's been working for a company for 30 some years, and she's been working in the field as an employee for longer than that. And I just think that while I actually see how like her working for someone else and someone else's agenda over time, and then you're raising kids and raising the family and all of that, and over time you actually don't even know what you're interested in because you've just been giving so much of yourself to someone else. And so I'm encouraging her to begin deschooling herself and discovering what her interests are. And that's exactly what the process has been like for our family in our homeschooling journey. So we've been homeschooling now exclusively for 2 years. The first year was kind of homeschool, but we've been on this journey, and it's been definitely a learning process. There've been a lot of fears, like, is this the right choice? Are we doing this right? My kids actually went to public charter school for half their lives. So we're not, homeschoolers from the beginning. And so there's just a lot of anxiety that comes with being a parent and transitioning from the public school to then deciding to homeschool. And so this process of deschooling has been really helpful to really educate myself as a mom, and to take the time to actually just begin building up my kids and helping them to discover their interests. So for us, deschooling has looked like this trying a lot of new things. So we have been on so many field trips that kind of became our thing. So we made like a long list of just different field trips and places that we're interested in going and checking out. And it's a lot of like talking to my kids and being like, if there's one thing that you could do. So it's like talking to my kids and figuring out, if there's, one or two things that you can do that you've always been kind of interested in, but didn't really kind of press in, what would that be? So it's a lot of like asking open-ended questions to begin kind of pulling these like, just these things from them, and then saying, okay, and then coming up with ideas and researching and Googling and figuring out like what's around us that we can just begin experiencing. Because the whole idea is, again, even in kids in school, they are kind of told what to do, what to learn, how to act, etc. And so even as children, they lose that natural curiosity that we come into this world having. So they also have to rediscover, what actually am I interested in? What actually are my strengths? So for us, that looks like going on field trips to the zoo, to the aquarium, different science museums, going hiking. We visited lots of local businesses. You know, we interview entrepreneurs at those businesses and ask them questions like, how did you get started and how did you come up with the idea? We go on hikes, if I haven't said that already, and just embrace and just like pay attention to the world around us. We watch documentaries on various topics that we're interested in. And then I throughout the deschooling process, now going into like my kids actually discovering some of their strengths and beginning to kind of press in on those strengths. So now we're actually transitioning to a like true type of unschooling life. It's been really cool to see how their learning went from, let me ask mom everything, all questions, to now they are more so like in charge of their learning. So if they're interested in something, like before, they would come to me, ask me, sometimes I would actually give them the answer, and sometimes I would like, okay, let's go look it up, And so over time, they're like, oh, if I ask her, she's gonna say, let's go look it up. So let me just start looking it up on my own. And then now, you know, they Google things, they research, they have been able to actually discover their own resources, and they are gaining the tools to learn. And so as a mom who constantly feels like in fear, is like, are they gonna miss out on something? No, understanding that they have this natural desire to learn and they are equipping themselves with the tools to actually go out and persist and find the information that they desire. That's super helpful for me, because I feel like as they encounter anything that they need, they will have the fundamental tools to know how to learn it. And yeah, I think it's really amazing, because the whole myth around, well, what if they don't learn something, is crazy, because technology is changing so fast. Like, you can learn something and it's like obsolete the next year. There's a new and improved technology or product that has basically like downgraded the previous way that you learned. So it's kind of like, now that I'm like on the outside of this, it's kind of like foolish to be like, oh, why do I need to know all these things? And it may not even be applicable next year. Instead, why don't I learn how to learn, and I can have limitless learning? So deschooling has been really fun for us. It's been a fun for our whole family. I feel like I'm learning and a lot of things myself, And yeah, especially having like preteens and teenagers in that phase. I know for me, middle school was extremely hard. So being able to like be with them, walk with them, ask them questions as a parent, like introduce them to resources and facilitate connections, and then like giving them a little bit of freedom to just like watch them just run with it, has just been so beautiful. So I just encourage not only the homeschooling families out there, but also adults. Like, let's deschool, right? And I think deschool is an ongoing process too. I would say, they say that deschooling is something that you should do according to the amount of years that you have been in like the traditional school. So it's like, if your child has been in school for 4 years, you should deschool 4 months. But of course, us as parents who grew up in the public school system, deschooling will be an ongoing process for us. So we're just gonna like take it in spurts. We're still doing some deschooling and then transitioning to more of like a focused unschooling life, where they are able to kind of like begin kind of going in and zooming in on things that they're interested in. But if I find that we're kind of getting back to our old ways and old stresses of school has to look like this, it has to be within these certain amount of hours, it has to be at a table, it has to be at a workbook. If I find us kind of getting back into that trap, then guess what? We will just deschool again and again and again. So if this video has been helpful for you, comment below, like, subscribe to this channel, and let me know what you think. Have you deschooled? Have you heard of the concept before? What does that look like for you? See you guys next time.